session is for automotive industry, and we will demonstrate how PTC Codebeamer can help to develop safety critical systems that and adhere to the ISO 26262 standards. Now, as let me go to the next slide. Okay, this is the agenda for today's session, and whatever is highlighted in blue in color, but I have intentionally put all these topics just to highlight what Codebeamer does. And then, we will try to see what we are going to see in today's demo. Therefore, Codebeamer provides industry specific template because we have the similar functional safety uh, standards for all other industry as well. And Codebeamer has a template for that. But in today's session, we'll just focus only on automotive and only on 26262. This is for SOTIF and this is for cybersecurity, and we have different sessions for that. And there's already a recording which is available on our websites. Then Codebeamer is a full complete ALM application. Therefore, it provides all this core capability, which is requirements management, specification management, and QA and test management, and risk and DevOps. We are not covering them explicitly and doing a deep dive. But when I say that, Codebeamer provides 26262 template, all these are inbuilt into the template. Therefore, it's just that, for today's session, I will not go through all the trackers for all which are typically meant for requirement specification, QA and test and release. Instead, I will focus only on the functional safety aspects of it. So therefore, they are functional safety trackers. But having said that, all are integrated into the product development. Therefore, all are integrated into this, but our focus will be only on the functional safety specific trackers. Then we have a lot of non-functional aspects, non-application aspects. What I mean to say is that all these are applicable for all of these core capabilities. But again, it requires to do a deep dive into these. Therefore, we are not doing it. But while I am talking about the functional safety trackers, I can also touch upon some of these, and typically the blue ones, and more importantly, this one, because one of the or two of the key aspects of ISO 26262 is about consistency and it's about traceability. And having said that, even these are also key need for ISO 26262, but these are the core ones, and this I will talk through when I do the demo. Now, why functional safety? Okay, why do we need to worry about functional safety or ISO 26262? And it's all because of the software, because we are living in an era where we need software on for our daily life, right? From mobile gadgets to car to everything. Okay, we need software is embedded into most of the devices today which we use on a daily basis. And software is eating into all industry, and not only automotive, but software is eating into all industry. And if you look at any smart car today, any smart connected car today, they have like more than 100 ECUs, and they have like 100 million lines of code. And when I say that 100 ECUs, it's like anti-braking, and we are already seeing some of them, most of them on the software defined vehicles today, like anti-braking system or adaptive cruise control or lane departure warning, or could be engine control unit, transmission control unit, HVAC systems, or tire pressure monitoring systems, and so on. So they are like, quite a big list now, and the list is growing, and the number of lines of code is growing. And that is where the concerns are coming up, that as more and more systems in the car starts relying on this embedded softwares, there is more and more chances for system failure and hazard in cybersecurity. And that is where we need more stringent safety standards and regulations to address this. And we already have the safety standards, that is, the functional safety standard from for automotive, which is 26262. And what Codebeamer does is it helps the companies to adhere to this standard, and it enforces them into the process, so that you don't need to spend time just figuring out whether the data is linked with each other or not. The tool will take care of it, and it is all inbuilt. So therefore, you even don't need to do any startup effort. You can start from day one and you have a tool which can help you to directly adhere to this from day one. Now, what you see here is the complete standard safety standard, the list of safety standards. But what we'll focus here is more on the on IEC 61508, and then we'll focus on 26262. These two are key focus area. But as you see in this picture, the 6150508 is a general international standard, and again this aims at the function safety for electrical and electronics components, which has got embedded software systems. And this is further extended, or further there are a lot of derivatives of this for each industry. The one is for the process industry, the other is for the nuclear, the other is for machinery, the railways and medical devices and so on. And one of them is ISO 26262, which is primarily for automotive. And ISO 26262 also addresses hazards which are caused by the malfunctions of the electrical and electronic related systems only, and not like if there's a fire or a smoke or a heat or any radiation. Such hazards, if they are not coming from the malfunctioning of electrical and electronic systems, then it's not part of 26262. Just wanted to highlight that this is more about the functional safety with respect to the electrical and electronic systems, which has an embedded software below it. Now, apart from it, other key thing is to highlight is this, that in IEC 61508, we have three SL levels, that is SL1, SL2, SL3, that is safety integrity levels. And Codebeamer can help you to deliver products which are at SL3 level. So that is the key part of it. And the similar thing on ISO 26262. In case of ISO 26262, we have a similar thing like SL, but it is ASIL, which has got 4 levels, A, B, C, D, where D is the most stringent one. Now, why Codebeamer, and how Codebeamer will help doing all these things? So therefore, as you see here, therefore there's many more templates. I'm just showing you the key ones. Therefore, there is an industry specific template from Codebeamer around functional safety and around also the product development. And what we are going to focus is only on the automotive side. Now, within automotive, you have 3 key ISO standards. One is 26262, which is the functional safety, which is today's session. And then we have SOTIF, and we have cybersecurity. We also have video recordings for this, which you can see it on our YouTube, or you can also see it on our PDSVISION website. Now, one key thing which I want to highlight here is that anything which happens from inside the system, they all get covered under 26262. But any damage or any hazard or anything which is happening from outside the system, it is covered under these two, the SOTIF and the cybersecurity. The difference here is this, that if it is through the environment or because of a misuse of the item, then that comes from the SOTIF. For example, if you have an automated some automation which is using the front camera or the rear camera, and then there is a snowfall and the snow covers the camera. Now, because the snow covers the camera, it can lead to some hazard, right? And such type of things comes under SOTIF because it is done. It is not built into the camera, means built into the system, but it is an external factor which is impacting it. So therefore, those things comes under SOTIF. And cybersecurity is more about the malfunctions which are introduced by the hackers, and means once they get an access to the CAN bus, they can tamper the data, which can make the car behave in a different way. And that is again cybersecurity, but that is again from external. So therefore, these two are more from outside, and this is more from inside. Now, apart from it, if you once you start using this template, the good part of this template is this, that you get the template enforces process. That means because the template has got all the standards built into it, and once people start creating the project using these templates, they automatically start following the process or following the ISO standards. So that is the good part of it, and that is the key benefit. The other key benefit is to prevent the recalls due to safety issues, because now you have a system. Now you don't need to run behind and figure out what is linked to what, and if I change, the functional safety requirement, what all is impacted, and if I miss something and so on, right? So therefore, all that safety issues are can be addressed much better, and therefore, once you launch a product, it will definitely help you to create high quality safety critical products. And once you launch it, the recalls should not be there. And because it also allows you that to cross-functional team to work, whether it's system engineering or software engineering or hardware engineering or mechanical engineering, all working on the same tool, and all are getting linked with each other, and every work items are linked with each other. Whenever something is changed, you can see the suspects and all that, and it's all change control. You cut down the cost of doing all these things, like trying to build traceability, trying to build manual traceability, trying to follow up. All that gets cut down. That means all the non-productive work gets cut down, and that brings the cost, product cost, as the audit cost, compliance audit cost. And there are many more. And one of the key thing is that you can be up and running on day one. So you don't need to spend a lot of initial effort to set up the systems and try to figure out what ISO standard, ISO 26262 has to offer, and how do you get compliant to it, or how do you adhere to it. All that is built into the template. Therefore, you don't need to spend those non-productive time. Now, how can Codebeamer help in compliance adherence to ISO 26262? Now, what you see here, the key items here. These are all from the ISO standard itself. And what Codebeamer does is the Codebeamer is embedded all this into the data model and into the tool, so that you don't need to worry about all these links and all these definitions which we're going to create. Let me just quickly walk you through this in the system, so that we save time and we toggle back and forth with the system. Now, for today's demo, we use FLM, that is, front light management system, and it is all about the front light and about the low and the high beam. So therefore, we are looking at, like, we are not looking at all the aspects of it, but what we're looking at is what could be a hazard. For example, a hazard could be like if I'm driving in this type of lane, and if I am on a very high beam and there's no divider, therefore I can make the other car, the front car, if they're coming against me, the car driver can go blind with my high beam, right? And that can lead to hazard, and that is not intended. So those are the things which comes into the play when we talk about functional safety, and that is what we'll see, like how Codebeamer helps you to follow this and make sure that you're following a process and to develop a high quality product. Therefore, with this, let me get into the system. Therefore, first time when you log into the system, you can go and click a project, and then you can log into the system. I can let me click this just to show you like how do you create a project. Therefore, when I create a project, I click next, and then I can select the template depending upon which company I'm working. If I'm an automotive company, I select this template, and once I select this template and create a project, you get this complete data model in build. And that is the good part of it. That means from day one, you can start using it, and you get this out of the box. Now, I will avoid creating it right now in this session. So what I will do is I go back to the project, go back to one of the project which I've already created, and I created using the same template which I just now showed you. So once you get into the project, or once you create the project, a quick update about Codebeamer. So once you create the project, you get a structure like this, what you see here. OK, each of these line items, we call it as a tracker. So this is the tracker word, trackers, and each one of this is a tracker. You also have this black tracker. These are just organizing tracker. OK, but these are just folded organizing tracker. OK, but the tracker, these are the trackers which are under the concept phase. These are the tracker under the system development. These are the tracker under hardware development. This is tracker under the software development. Each of this tracker, the UI, the look and feel is exactly the same. That's what makes Codebeamer very intuitive in nature. Okay. And because if whether I'm a safety guy engineer or whether I'm a functional safety professional or whether I am a system engineer or a hardware engineer or software engineer, the look and feel is all the same. Apart from it, each tracker has its own lifecycle, own attributes, and own permission set and own notification and so on. So therefore, it is like each one is a container. Okay. Now, to start with, first thing which you do in a functional safety is you go and define an item. Okay, and what is an item? Item is like could be a system or could be a system of system. And to define an item, like in this case, if you see here, there's a front light management system, which is our session about. But you can also create, like other items. I just created some for other demos. But yeah, you can create any other item definition the way you want. Now, how do you create an item definition? Just click here plus, and then a new like this. I just clicking and I'm clicking it right now, and I can just say here like a demo. So demo becomes one of my item definition, and say demo item definition item def. I'm just creating it just to show you this. But if you go here, I can create a very rich text. Like, I can use all these things and create a very, very rich text with link options, with file upload, with emojis, with rich contents and all that. But for time for today's demo, let's not go into this. This is all covered into different videos known as work item management and all. So therefore, you can visit our website or YouTube and look at it. Now, if you see here in front light management system, we have identified these as an item that is a light switch, ignition, HMI, and all that. And for each line item, like when I go to the light switch in the UI, if you look at it, it has got 3 panels. One is on the left hand side, which you see the tree structure of the item definition. The same way you can see a tree structure for safety goals and so on. In the middle pane, you see more descriptive things. And on the right hand side, you have got a panel which has got 3 sub panels. The last panel is about the attributes, what it has. The second one is about the releases, like which release this has to be mapped to. And the first one is about library, which has to be, if you want to drag and drop from any other library and reuse it, you can use the first one. Now, again, all this is a session on its own. We'll skip this. We'll just focus on ISO-26262. Now, once you've defined the item, then I've already defined the item, therefore I'm not defining it again. Then I go and define the function list, because when you define an item, ideally speaking, you will be defining the functionality, the dependencies, the interfaces, the environmental conditions, the legal requirements, and so on. Many of these things, instead of defining into one tracker, it has been split into functions list as well. Therefore, I can define items and I can define the functions here and connect to them. Therefore, that is what it is. But let's not go to the functions. Let's go to the HADA. The HADA is the core thing for this ISO-26262. HADA is about hazard analysis and risk assessment. And it is whenever when I double click this, in the other case, I saw a 3-panel view, and here I'm seeing a tabular view. Why? Because Codebeamer provides you these different types of views. Now, in case of item definition, it was good to open in document view. In case of this, it is good to open in tabular view. That's how it has been pre-configured. And all that you can change it. You can just click here, and if you have the admin rights, you can go and change all this. Okay. But the reason is that because in HADA, you have all this classification. Like for every hazard, you want to define, you want to classify them, or you want to classify them on the exposure, on controllability and severity to determine the SL. So it's much easier to look this data in a tabular view, and that's why it is done like this. But you can always toggle. I can always click here and go back to the document view. So now if you see here, I am seeing that there are 3 hazards, like, means they could be a hazard of total loss of low beam. That means, I means my front light is not working well, and I don't have a low beam option. So that means either it runs on a high beam or there's no light, right? And if it runs on a high beam, then, the chances of hazards are very, very high. Unintended high beam in the sense that, if it is night and if I'm driving on a highway which doesn't have a divider, then also, it's a big hazardous situation. Now HMI is not working, like, the dashboard or the human machine interface, that part is not working. But all of this hazard has got these 3 attributes: exposure, controllability, and severity, and then the ACD is determined. Now, this is the beauty part of it that, if I change here, like suppose if I go and change the exposure to E4, you see here my ACL is A. Now, if I save it, my ACL has become D now. So therefore, it has all the computational logic for ACL determination, and that's all makes life very easy. Therefore, I don't need to configure all these things. I just start using from day one. I create my item definition. I go and create my hazard. And then when I creating a hazard, I need to link it to the item definition. Therefore, if you see here, the HADA is always linked to the item definition. So therefore, I can just drag and drop and link it like this as a system elements. But apart from it, even if I want to add something, I can always add any more things on the association. Therefore, there's a references, there's an association. I can associate anything to this if I want to build a link much way beyond what ISO 26262 offers. So therefore, if I want, this to also to be connected to some other things, I can just drag and drop and use association. Association is like a free links. It's not a constrained links. Now, we call it the soft links. And references are hard links, like hazard should be linked to item, and that's why you have this attribute and it is linked here. Okay, and you can see it always if you go here, you will see it upstream, which is all the items, and in the downstream, hazard will be you will use hazard to derive a safety goals. Therefore, if I click here, you will see downstream and you will see safety goals. For all the numbering system, we put a abbreviation and then we put an auto number. Therefore, you see SG and then you see the number of the safety goals. So now with this, once it is defined, then I can go to the safety goals, and these safety goals are now derived from HADA. So therefore, if I go here, it says prevent the loss of total beam. It says prevent the unintended high beam activation. HMI should not shut off in any driving scenario. Like when I'm driving, my HMI should always be in a working state. Now, when you define such safety goals, a safety goals also has its associated ASIL here. Therefore, for each one also it has got an ASIL here, and this is this will be there. And then also there's a safe state and there's a fault tolerance time. Again, all these are predefined as per the data model, and it also is connected to HADA because as you see here in this data model, this safety goal is to be derived from HADA. Now, from safety goals, we will derive the functional safety concepts. What is this? This is about functional safety concept is all about the functional safety requirements, basically. Like it describes the measure that are to be implemented on functional level to prevent the violation of the safety goals. That means basically it's a all sort of requirements which is required to fulfill the goals which we have decided. So that is what is the safety goals, and it has to be connected to the safety goal. And ideally speaking, if I have like 10 safety goals, I should have at least 10 functional safety concept. Now I can have multiple functional safety concept connected to the same safety goal, that's fine. But at least there should be one functional safety concept or functional safety requirement for every safety goal. So therefore, this is how it works. And then from the functional safety concept, I can derive the technical safety requirement or technical safety concept, and then this becomes my foundation for the downstream product development. So therefore, for today's session, we stop at this level, and we're not doing the product development part of it, which is covered in the other sessions. But anyway, I'll continue. But I just wanted to say you that it actually the product development doesn't stop here. We are showing you only the functional safety related trackers, but there's a lot of product development after this. Okay, after this functional safety concept. Now we again go back to the system. Therefore, we were in the safety goal. Now, if I go back to functional safety concept, and with this functional safety concept, like here, there's a lot of details defined, like warning and degradation concepts. Now, for each of these concepts, if I go here, we may have links or we may not have links. Like for example, in this one, if I go upstream, it is connected to the safety goal, and if I go downstream, It's not connected to anything. That means, means for this functional safety concept, I don't have any technical safety concepts and so on. So it's not connected here. Also, I can see it's not connected because otherwise I'll see here. I see only the safety goal because this is connected to this safety goal, but there is nothing connected downstream to it. And otherwise I can see the upstream here, but I can create a downstream from here as simple as this, but I'm just trying to say that it's not connected. And then you have the technical safety concepts here, which should be again connected to the functional safety concept here. So what I can do is, if I go here in the functional safety concept, go here in the functional safety concept and see this, I can connect a functional safety concept here just for the demo purpose. Therefore, if I see here, if I go to the assumptions and limitations, I don't have any functional safety concept. If I go to safety goals, I don't have any functional safety concept. But just for this demo, let us connect over two of them. Therefore, I go to the assumptions and limitations on the issue level, and in this, I can connect here a functional. If I go here and connect, for example, one, okay, and the other one I go here, and the other one I connect to. So what I have done now is, sorry, if I go to the second one, I go here and then connect number two, for example. Okay, so this is randomly I've chosen here, but should be fine for the demo. So now what I have done is this, that I have defined an item. I connected some HADAs. There is some hazards, and for each of the hazards, I have safety goals. And then for the safety goals, I've created the functional safety. And then for two of the functional safety, I created the technical safety concept. Now, the key part why I'm doing this is to show you that first of all this is taken care. The second thing I wanted to show you was is that once you are done with it, you can always go on the top. There are a lot of other views. We talked about the table view, which we saw in HADA. And whenever you click any data, you can see it in the table view, like the same data in a table view. Document view is the 3-panel view. The document edit view is also 3-panel view where you can edit it. Then you have Kanban board, which we're not going through now because there's more from project management perspective. This is for test coverage. We're not talking about testing in this session. This is important. This is about traceability. Now, what this means is that how do I look at all these traces? Like with the PowerPoint, it looks good, but can the same thing be seen in the system? Answer is yes. And you don't need to maintain Excels anymore. All this can be put in one window and can be exported into an Excel. So therefore, if I go here, what I can do is I can, like, for example, initial set. I can say initially I want to select an item. And then I want to, for the same project, I want to see this item, how it is connected to how the items are connected to HADA. HADA is hazard. Therefore, I just pick that hazard hazard analysis and risk assessment, and just say hit go just for timing, just to show you. Then it'll show me, like, for each of these items, these are the hazards which are defined. But this is quite simple. Therefore, what I did is I don't want to do all this 5 levels, each levels add here one by one. Instead, I already have created. See, when you do this type of filtering or this type of traceability report, you can also save it. I've already saved one. I will just open that. Therefore, I'll go here and say HADA trace. OK, now I clicked my thing, the report which I've already built. OK, and if I expand this, I can edit it and show you again. But what I did is, let me edit and show you that very quickly. So that is much easier because. OK, therefore, what I did for you was only 2 levels, but here I have added more levels. So what I have done is this, that for the same project, item definition and asset is my main thing. OK, and then from there I look at hazard analysis and risk assessment, and then I look at safety goals, and then I'm trying to look at functional safety concept, and then I'm trying to look at technical safety concept and requirement specification as well. Now for each one, like for case of like item definition, like for example, let me just show you like this. I can remove this asset. I can just keep it as item definition. And in item definition, instead of just definition, I also want the ID and I can move the ID in front. So you can play around like this. Once you are done with this, just collapse this or first hit go. Okay, so that the reports gets generated below. Okay, once it is generated, it's generated below, but I just want to make the screen big. Therefore, I collapse this, the screen becomes big. Now, all these items like demo item definition, we did not create anything, therefore it is empty. But when you look at FLM ECU or power supply, these are the items which we have. These are the hazard which we have. For the hazard, we have to also have the operational situations. And for the hazard, we also have the malfunctions, the severity, the exposure, the controllability, and then the ACL definition for the hazard. Okay, for each one of this hazard. Then safety goal. Then we define the safety goal based on the hazard, and then you have all the safety goals. And then you have the for safety goals, you also have defined the fault tolerance time and the safe state. And then from the safety goals, we define the functional safety concept and functional safety requirement, which are again here in the bigger list. And then these are broken down into the technical safety concept or TSC, that is technical safety concept, and they are again further connected like this. So like this, what work which you do, it automatically keeps building the link as and when you're working. And tomorrow, for any reason, suppose something changes, all these suspect flags, you will start seeing red, and then you need to click the suspect flag and go and resolve them. So therefore, that is where the whole beauty comes into the play. That means, you don't need to spend, if you don't do it in the system like this, and if you're doing it in Excel, this all is a nightmare, like with the number of lines of code and with the complexity, it is just not manageable without a software today. So that's why, Codebeamer has a lot of value to offer. Now, once you are done, you will also like to export it into an Excel. Therefore, you can click this export. And then say that I want to export in Excel. Export is done. It says that press 11 to come to this view, open this traceability expansion, and then this is the Excel which is just created. So as you see here for demo and all that, it is not because means I did not enter anything for them, but for the FLM ECU, it has got all these details. And on the top, it has got like, for example, if I freeze this, but if I freeze the panels here, now you can see here like item definition, and this is level 1, and then you have a level 2, and then you have level 3, and then you have level 4, and so on. So this way you can build your complete traceability. So this is the most key important thing. Now, even though I just showed only this part of it, which is more of a concept phase and not got into the product development piece of it, but the same concept is propagates down, and I can just explain you on the slide because it's the same principle. My only point, what I wanted to highlight was this, that you don't need to build all this. You don't need to build the attributes, what we saw, and you don't need to do all the computations. But even if you want to do, it is very simple, and that I will just touch base before I close the call. Just a quick recap. Therefore, you have system, and a system can have subsystems. And what you do is you have a technical safety concept defined, and then you use it for your system design. You say you have a technical safety concept design for subsystem. You do a system design. You do the hardware design, software design, hardware design, software design. Then you do the hardware and software integration testing, for different subsystems, and then you join all together and do the hardware and software integration testing for a particular module, and then you again do the same thing for the whole vehicle. So therefore, your safety concepts are all gets propagated down to the product development. If you look from the V model perspective, you have the system engineering part here, which is this part. You have the hardware engineering, and then you have the software engineering, and then you have the real source code. Now, this can also, it doesn't mean that a Codebeamer, you can also use mechanical engineering as well, mechanical requirements and mechanical engineering as well. And instead of source code, it could be your bill of material, and it could be a PLM system. All that is possible out of the box with Windchill as Windchill as the PLM system. Codebeamer has a direct integration with Windchill through OSLC. So therefore, it is possible to do the system engineering part here, and then the BOM management and the manufacturing BOM management and the service BOM management in Windchill. Now, when it comes to functional safety, as you see here in the product development, it goes in the view model like this. But having said that, we talked about item definition, we talked about HADA, then HADA gets from HADA, you derive safety goals, and then from safety goals, you define the functional safety requirements, and then you define the technical safety requirements, and this technical safety requirements becomes the foundation to do the system development, the hardware development, and the software development, and also to do the verifications. And on the other hand, your functional safety requirements is the basis for doing your system validation. So therefore, with this, you are very well covered to really build a high quality safety critical components of safety critical systems. And without, if I just remove those green ones, just to show a simple view, system engineering with validation, hardware engineering with hardware integration and software integration verification, software verification, and then the source code. Okay, now with this, I will, before I close this call, I also wanted to show the capability of configurability capability. Therefore, if you go here, as I said that, everything which you see here, the project, all these trackers, each tracker is configurable. And so that in case, if you feel that ISO-26262 is too stringent and you want to a little bit tailor it, or you want to add something more, you want to add some more traces, just go to that tracker and then you can click this and you can configure. Now for this tracker, I can configure the general stuff, like I can configure the icon, I can configure the numbering scheme and so on. I can configure the permission set, and that these are the roles and these are the things which I can do. I can configure the life cycle. Each tracker has its own life cycle. You can configure that. Each tracker has its own field. We saw that, we saw HADA, right? And we saw in HADA that you have this exposure, severity and controllability, right? And ASIL determinations, right? All data fields, you can have computation field, or you can have a simple basic data types. You can have escalations, notifications, and so on. Therefore, it is to wrap it up, I would say that the very couple of key benefit is this, that first is a very quick start, because you don't need to model this. And this comes along with the ISO-26262. It also has a cybersecurity, which is 21434, which you can also use, like, this is the TADA part of it. So therefore, all this comes out of the box, and it's a quick start for you. The second important thing is the traceability. We looked at this diagram, and from item definition to a technical safety concept. But this has many more. Like suppose if I just go and just select all this, imagine the level of complexity we are talking about. Look at this traces, and these traces are all automatically taken care in the software for you. This is the level of traces which you land up building when you work on an ECU or work on any of the embedded systems. And this is all taken care by the system on its own, and then you can generate a traceability report, export into Excel, and use it. So with this, we close today's session. Thank you for attending.